fans, and welcome to another episode of Silver Screams Reacts. It's been a while!
It has! It's almost like we've been busy and things have been crazy.
It's been very, very busy, so thank you guys so much for sticking with us. We have a trailer to react to. As you can see from the title of the video, the new Child's Play trailer dropped. There is some shit with this fucking movie.
I know literally nothing about it.
Well, behind the scenes, for people who might not know, is that Child's Play is a long-running franchise, of course, about a doll possessed by the spirit of an evil serial killer named Charles Lee Ray. He puts his soul into a doll, and that doll proceeds to spout puns as it kills people. It's great. It's funny. It's never been a franchise I've had a huge amount of emotional investment in. It's not like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. I'm not even super emotionally invested in. I'm more emotionally invested in Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. But Chucky is so friggin' fun that, like, when this shit started going down, I noticed.
Is this a reboot?
It's a reboot.
Oh, okay.
But
I was wondering.
The thing is that the director and writer of a lot of the previous other films, Dan Mancini, I think it's Dan Mancini, it might be Don Mancini. I don't know, I don't have it in front of me.
Mr. Mancini.
He's been involved with the franchise since the beginning, and he's written and directed the last couple movies.
He wasn't asked back, was he?
No.
Yep, no. Kind of figured.
He wasn't asked back.
Leading up.
But the weird thing is that he's working on a Child's Play television series. So there's this weird split. Orion Pictures is reboot, and I talked about this with our buddy Lucretia Lyon on her podcast like a million years ago when this was initially announced. This movie is a reboot without any of the previous creative team. Brad Dourif's not involved in it. I'm sorry. Jennifer Tilly's not involved in it.
This is not a vowels kind of thing, is it?
I'm all over the place.
No.
And, you know, Mr. Mancini isn't involved in it. Literally, nobody who's been involved in the last couple movies is involved with this movie.
You know, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
That's not a judgment on the quality. That is we wanted to do a reboot. We wanted to do it our way. We wanted to do it fresh. So let's get people fresh.
Well, see,
like,
if it was,
I get that line of thought, but I feel like that's also a little heartless.
Well, this isn't an Ash versus Evil Dead remake sort of situation where they're separate, but you know, but there's no like shade being thrown. Like yesterday when the trailer dropped, Jennifer Tilly put out a tweet basically boycotting the movie. Like that, it's not an amicable split.
Oh,
that's
boy.
The thing is like, yeah, Mancini's working on the television series, but like I said, this is not an amicable thing, and Brad Dourif's been this character for like 30 years.
I have to wonder about the rights negotiations for this.
Yeah, it's kind of bonkers.
Yeah, how have they managed to do that?
How do you reboot the movie franchise, but then still run off to do television? I have no idea.
Hysterical if the doll had a different name?
I think
I'm
it's
sure
still going
they're
to be
not going to do that, but wouldn't it be hysterical? Like, you can use the premise and the title, but you can't use any character names, you can't use that, like, that would be crazy.
Something, and I don't know if this is actually true, but something that was sort of a rumor about this movie, and I haven't been keeping track of it because I want a fresh reaction, was that it wasn't going to be the spirit of a killer, but a bad AI. Which
be interesting.
Could work, but again, it's like,
murder Tamagotchi!
Literally everything I've been hearing about this movie leading up to this trailer release, I'm just like,
I think we need to just watch this now.
I think we do.
And I say this as someone who has never really had any love for the Child's Play franchise. I don't know why. There's just some part of me that's like, well, what horror movies do we have on while we're surfing through the channels? Teens being murdered by a masked man, teens being murdered in their dreams, everyone being murdered by a doll. Let's go for the masked man.
See, for me, like I said, I'm not like hugely emotionally invested in this series, but like it was always one of the more approachable horror movies when I first started getting into horror because it's cheesy and silly, and again, anytime you got a killer that's spouting off one-liner puns, like, it's like, oh, okay, this is a little bit more accessible to, like, somebody who's just getting into horror. That and Brad Dourif's just freaking phenomenal voice work is just such a treat in any of the movies. So yeah, without any further ado, let's take all that judgment that I was just spewing out there, put it on a shelf, reserving those judgments, and we're gonna let the trailer hopefully speak for itself, and maybe we'll be impressed. Maybe I'll be like, okay, judgment back. All right.
You got a long ways to go to impress me with a Child's Play movie.
For sure. All right, without any further ado, Child's Play 2019.
At Caslin, we believe that happiness is about more than entertainment. It's about being known, understood, loved.
A little bit of an older kid.
Your new best friend.
Aubrey Plaza.
Let me tell you about my robot friend.
Well, the cinematography looks good.
That's oh, it's a warehouse. I was gonna say, that's a big house.
Oh, still looks like Chucky.
Chucky?
Friends till the end. Smart move having the doll not speak, because for people who are fans of the franchise, it's a good way of hiding the fact that his iconic voice isn't there.
I mean,
that was more of a teaser.
that really
than
was
trailer.
a teaser. Well, I mean, your usual trailer at this point is like 2.5 minutes long, and this was 1:13, and a good chunk of that was the stinger at the end for other links.
I think it's just like 60 seconds. Aesthetically speaking, I think this looks like a very polished movie.
Oh yeah, like you said, good cinematography, good set dressing,
Good casting.
honestly. Like some of those shots in that warehouse.
Yeah.
I just, again, you got a long ways to go for me for Murder Doll. And if you're gonna go, all right, well, you know, weird voodoo shit happened and there was a serial killer in the doll. All right, this entire premise is batshit insane. Let's go. A messed up AI in a doll. You're gonna have a hard time selling that, I think, even with the pedigree of the Child's Play name.
I will say it's a good way of hand-waving the problematic aspects that, you know, nobody blinked an eye at in the 80s.
Yeah,
in terms of using
voodoo
as a plot device. It's a good way to hand-wave that. However, again,
I mean, you could have gone with magic. You could do a curse. You could do weird supernatural stuff without going into racist stereotypes. There are ways to do this.
this could have been an offshoot of Ash vs. the Evil Dead. Klaatu, Barada, and now the doll's possessed.
Yeah! Or even just like the kid gets a new doll and the kid like watches a video online or picks up a book from the library or something, like, or kid's younger sibling gets a new doll, but teenager is getting into their whatever phase and goes down a path that they shouldn't. Like, there are ways to do getting involved with
The
weird
supernatural,
magical
yeah.
shit that don't necessarily have to be like witches are evil, Satanists are evil, whatever. Like, let's go with older kid is fucking around and accidentally makes a contract with a demon, and that demon is now in the doll, killing people because older kid did not fulfill the contract that they didn't realize they were making. I just made a completely different movie, and I want it more.
You could
Damn it.
also, without the use of magic, just have it be a ghost possessing the doll. Like, you don't even need a voodoo curse for that. You could just, you know, anybody who dies in like a violent way, you could have them, you know, there's a lingering spirit, like, that has unresolved business.
There was a murder committed in the house, or someone died in the house, or this is where this serial killer lived, and the police caught them, and there was a firefight, and the guy died.
It's literally the exact same, minus the voodoo aspect of it. But look, I think we're getting lost in the weeds again with the problematic aspect of a movie 30 years old.
I'm sitting here going, you're going to have a real hard time selling me on homicidal AI in a doll. Just generally speaking.
See, I'm actually...
I don't know why I think possessed doll is an easier thing to deal with than, hey, your Teddy Ruxpin is fucked.
For a lot of people, that's not a huge leap. But for me, it's not a huge leap because Joe Dante directed Small Soldiers, like in the late 90s, and I know it's not a good movie, but I remember enjoying it. It's not a good movie, but I remember enjoying it when I was younger. So, like, the idea of evil AI messing with a doll, that's not super far-fetched to me because I'm familiar with that premise and I've enjoyed that premise in the past. Like, for me, I think Aubrey Plaza, being involved is a sign of good faith. I usually like the projects she signs up for.
She usually makes good decisions.
Yeah, and the actor that they got to play the kid, he looks like he's turning in a good performance. And like I said, it looks sleek. I will definitely see it. But again, here's my judgment. Here's my judgment over the whole thing. Like, again, I feel like I would feel a lot better about it if it wasn't so blatantly a middle finger to the people who've been involved with the franchise for so long. Like, it's not an Evil Dead where Sam and Bruce were just like, yeah, go for it.
Oh, you're doing a thing? Have a good time.
Yeah,
here's how we made the original book prop.
It feels more like, the people who were working on it. The studio went, oh, that's nice, and like half ripped away whatever he was doing. They're like, you go do your own thing now. We're gonna go take this, rewrite it all. In fact, we're just gonna erase all of it and just do something completely new. And I get it. It's a franchise, and especially with clearly varying rights going on, I understand the need and desire to make a movie, so you hang on to those. But still, like, I don't know, guys. You could do a reboot and still involve the people who have been involved.
I wonder if they tried that and then differences wound up so big that they just went, you know what, fuck it, bye.
Well, that's clearly an F you then. Yeah, it's clearly a fuck you, again, to the people who've been involved. So, I don't know. It looks sleek. Whether or not it's any good, we'll have to wait and see. But it looks well polished, and it's just a shame that, again, that middle finger's there. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about the controversy surrounding the movie before we started watching the trailer. And
horror drama. I'm not involved in this world as much.
Well, you know how it would feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. For this thing that you like, and then like booting the people working on it for so long. Especially because there does seem to be a lot of passion and appreciation for like I said, the people who've been involved with this franchise. They've been involved with it because they love it. As silly and ridiculous as it gets, they love it. And so the fact that this is happening is kind of like cool. Anyway, I think that just about does it.
Yeah.
Hopefully a longer trailer will come out sometime soon, and then we can get a little bit more of an assessment on how this whole thing shakes out. Yeah, shakes out. Katie, where can people go if they want to find you?
You can follow me all over the social medias as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you like non-horror reaction videos, they live on that YouTube channel, as does my Overwatch podcast, On The Point.
And I'm Megan. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at TheMenguin. That's TheMenguin. Be sure to follow Silver Screams at Silver_Screams. Like us on Facebook, all that jazz. I want to know, if you guys were in charge of the Child's Play reboot, what direction would you take it in?
That was what I was just thinking. I want to know what toy terrified you as a child.
Oh, that too. Was it Teddy Ruxpin? It's okay. This is a safe space. You can tell us. It's fine. Did you have a toy that scared you?
Not really. It was more that we had spiders in the basement where the toys were kept.
I actually did have a toy. I think I've told this story on this channel before.
The doll?
Yeah,
You have.
an antique from my great grandma was a red-headed toy, and I brought it in for a show and tell one day. And not a friend of mine, a classmate of mine, said, "That doll looks like Chucky." And then after that, I was like, I don't think I want this doll in my room anymore, which is super sad because it was a gift and an antique.
Children.
Literally a gift from my great grandmother from her childhood. So thanks, Chris, you dick. Anyway, I think that just about wraps it up. So yeah, let us know in the comments below what toy scared you in your childhood and what direction would you take the Child's Play franchise?
I still like Stupid Warlock.
Stupid Warlock? Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Whoopsie doodle. It's gonna be interesting tone-wise too. See, because it looks like they're doing away with the camp and doubling down on what's supposed to be scary.
And again, a killer doll. Like, we tried this with Annabelle. It didn't work.
Well,
It
works half the time.
We tried to double down on the scary with Annabelle. We gave her a whole movie. It didn't work.
2 movies, probably a third.
Oh god, that's too many.
But it
That
works.
is 3 too many movies.
Annabelle works half the time because the prequel was apparently the prequel to the prequel was apparently good.
Fuck this entire timeline.
There's also the sequel to The Boy actually just got announced recently too. So a lot of killer doll things going on right now.
Like The Boy was a one-off though. This is a nice standalone. What are they gonna do? Bring someone else into the house and do the same goddamn thing?
That's the thing, is that like sorry, this is turning into a review of The Boy now. This is a boy review movie.
For those of you who are asking about, where's that channel where Megan yells about horror movies? This is it.
This is the one.
This is it.
With The Boy, the big thing about that movie is the twist.
Yeah.
Having given away the twist now, without spoiling it here, giving away the twist, you kind of remove a lot of the elements of tension and uncertainty.
You know what it's gonna be? It's gonna be like the Twilight novel that never got published, where we're gonna tell it from the doll's point of view.
No! No! Opposite of that is what I want.
I mean, I couldn't think of, I know there's a 50 Shades one as well, but I figured the Twilight one was less offensive?
Yes.
Somehow?
It is. That's the weird thing.
Because Twilight cared and 50 Shades didn't.
Yeah, for all of its faults, it at least cared.
This is becoming a review for everything. Reviewing the world!
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Jump scare.
Jump scare.
Emotional jump scare.